What's going down, everybody? It is I have returned from the land of the wind in the city. Went to just a thing in Chicago. Did some crate digging, and I kind of have a nice little haul here. So how about we check out what I grabbed while I was in Chicago over the weekend? Let's see, kind of some bangers, we'll see, mostly CDs, a couple vinyl, background listening to Udumbal, Udumbal. I'll do my best to put a thing in the description down there. Hopefully you can hear it. I know my last video's audio was absolute shite trash. There's some cool stuff here. So I visited Rolling Stones and picked up a couple. Now that shop has a pretty decent metal section. Most of it is like full price, like 16 to 18 bucks for kind of new-ish releases. So not usually my wheelhouse, not a lot of stuff that I'm like gonna be clamoring for. Just kind of like a lot of current releases here and there, but a couple of cheapo kind of stuff. I've kind of always meant to pick this up, but I got this Inherior, Dragons of the North. Just kind of never really got around to picking that up. I think I have their demo CD, a reissue or something, but I've listened to it a few times. I've kind of had mixed feelings on it, but I thought, you know, I'll throw it in there. This one, the Mantis demo reissues on Relapse. You know, it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to buy at full price or anything, but, you know, it was cheap. I don't think I've really ever heard these before. Love, Death, swear by all their discography, but it's not something I, you know, spent a lot of time trying to nail down. I wasn't aware that there was a new album from Tenebrae in Perpetuum, but they're a really great black metal band from Italy. I've got most of their releases. I want to say, so I just grabbed this and was like, yeah, let's go. But then I got to look at it and I was like, you know what? I forgot. They did an album a couple years ago that I didn't really care for. But then again, that was kind of when I was not really in as much of a black metal mood as I have been lately. So I don't know. Maybe it'll hit. Avant-Garde put it out. So must be of some quality. And then I gave my copy away of this to my guitar player because I just kind of wanted to like get him influenced by something that I kind of already thought that he sounded like. But so I picked up the Thorn self-titled. You know, I had it from way back in the day and just thought, you know, I'll find another copy of it somewhere. And here we are. This is a reissue with a couple of bonus tracks from a demo 2000. I don't think I remembered them having a demo from 2000, but whatever. We spun this when I was driving through Chicago and still rules. Some of my favorite vocals from Satir and Aldrun. So that was Rolling Stone. Let's see, I also bopped into 2 Reckless Records locations. One of them is like very downtown and kind of hard to get in and out of, but I got there with about 20 minutes before they closed, and I wound up scooping up this reissue of Thy Mighty Contract, Rotting Christ, kind of a essential classic there. I've just got a lot of mixed feelings about Rotting Christ. This album, phenomenal, absolute banger. The atmosphere on here is just impeccable. I do love this record. It's just not a band that was really around me when I was kind of really getting into this style of black metal, so it's kind of something I converted to later on, but I love this and Non Serviam, of course. After that, I don't know, I don't really care for it. Another thing I kind of struggle with this band is their album covers are, they change them every time they came out, so like it's kind of hard to like visually signify and remember exactly which ones are which is kind of annoying. I always wind up in these videos complaining about artwork in some capacity or another. I am ridiculous, I am fully aware. And then, so last night I also visited the Milwaukee location of Reckless Records, which is kind of my favorite one. At first I was kind of like not finding stuff, but the last few times I've been there, there's been a pretty hefty collection of kind of OG goodies sitting there. And it looks like they were all brought in by a certain collector. They're all of a very specific ilk, stuff that I would like absolutely have in my collection already, but didn't. So I'm pretty certain that a lot of this stuff is going to be from the same source. So I picked up this Amestijon. I don't know if I have ever actually heard this one. This is just a 4-track EP, but it is an early Napalm release, 45. So this is a side project of the Abigor and Summoning People. I love their album Their, T-H-E-I-R, I want to say. But I've listened, I think I've got another one of their CDs, and it's like not awesome. But maybe this is great. If anything, you know, it's like the first 50 releases from Napalm. Really, any Napalm release that has this logo on it is probably going to be quality. So this is the, I don't know, I don't really know anything about this. I've done some cursory looking, but I guess whatever this is, motherfucker, DeWolf Music Library is where a lot of this stuff came from. And I've picked up stuff from this collection from Reckless a couple of times now. And I think even in a video I did around this time last year, I showed a bunch of stuff that was like kind of pricey and I didn't wind up picking up. But let's see, also got Multi-Fission. Been kind of wanting to pick this one up for a couple of years now. This is a really unique kind of Demolicky sort of release. Rotted Life put this one out. Don't really know much about the band, but I did listen to this a fair amount when it first came out and was pretty impressed by it. It's kind of like a drum machine grind kind of Demolick malformation, if you will. Here is another. Again, not going to be a long video. This is just kind of a bunch of stuff I haven't really listened to much, if at all. Here's one I want to say, I don't know, it just kind of caught my eye. I like the cover art. It's a Vic Records reissue of old stuff, I think. I don't really know much about this band. Incardine, Seed of Doom. And anytime you find a Vic Records reissue, it's probably worth paying at least $10 for. So I want to say I actually did listen to this and kind of liked it, and so I was happy to throw that in the cart. Do another vinyl at the end here. So here's one. It's a reissue of something that I already have, but it's been remastered. And I have always kind of not liked the sound on this album. I've never really gotten into With Your Fear Like Kiss the Burning Darkness. So hopefully the remaster maybe sounds a little bit better, which is weird because I absolutely love The Red in the Sky Is Ours, and most people complain about the sound quality on it, and I really have no complaints about it. I think it sounds absolutely fine, and I've always thought this album sounds pretty remarkably terrible, mix-wise. So I don't know who did the remix. Transformation, it says. Don't know anything about it. Kind of wish. So it was originally a Sunlight Studios thing. I don't know. There's just something about the sound that I've just never really cared for with the original version of it. So maybe this sounds good. I've just always had like the double CD version of it that Peaceville did way back in the day. Now some heavy hitters. Nurgle, Wizard of Nereth. Not really been familiar with this. In fact, I don't think I was ever really acquainted with it until I think Nuclear War Now did a reissue campaign of this a couple of years ago. So looking forward to checking that out. That's the original Unisound version of it. Wasn't too expensive. I think this was like 15, stuff like that. And then I think I'm gonna be trying to finish out my collection of Shiver records. Now, probably the most expensive issue that I'm gonna need to pick up on Shiver Records is gonna be that Ulcus, which I'll probably never find. By the way, this is an absolute terrible piece of shit. But this is Avatar with Memoriam Draconis. So this is, I'm not sure, this is like a Wood Nymph sub-label. Wood Nymph is a sub-label of Shiver. And artwork by Chris Verwimp. I can't remember really anything about this band, but I've had this on my wish list for many years and never really gotten around to picking it up. So here we are. Got it in the house. I know it's black metal. I think it may be Greek or like Italian, something like that. And then never expected to see this out in the wild. Astrial, summoning the essence of ancient wisdom. So this was an EP they put out before their debut full length around 2001. Dissident was their own label where they released a couple of their first few things, maybe all if I'm not mistaken, but never expected to find this thing out in the wild, and that was a really affordable price. So I can't believe that. It was one of those moments where you just kind of like grab it and put it close to you and make sure no one sees you buying it for such a low price. Like I can't believe it. I think someone has paid $100 or so on Discogs for it. So yes, a couple more. So at that point I was kind of like, geez, I need to start getting out of here. Need to quit looking. Spent a lot of money. But on the way out, this caught my eye. Arden Thorns. Really liked that. Been listening to that quite a bit since it came out in like 2022 or 3 or something like that. I believe that's the guy from Vargrov doing like a kind of Balsagoth-y sort of thing. Then I got to looking through their 7 inches and this caught my eye. Decrepitaph, Wayne, good buddy of mine, his old band, and a split with Eternal Solstice, which is a band I've kind of been listening to a little more regularly. Really like Eternal Solstice. And this was $2. Orcustis, World Dirt Nap. Nothing remarkable, just Norwegian black metal. It was just kind of a weird moment where Southern Lord was releasing a Norwegian black metal band. But I believe this is what happened when Gorgoroth were kind of like fighting over the rights to the name. So this band, are you in there? This is Tormentor and Dirge Rep and Infernus. Dirge Rep from Aura Noir and Gehenna and Nettle Carrier. Great band. And I don't know who Typhon is. Taiphan. I'm not sure. But just thought, yeah, I'm gonna grab that. Why not? And then, is that all? I believe that is all. I've obviously got more stuff in since my last update, but just thought it'd be fun to go through this pile of Chicago goodies. If you have not heard this Astrial, it is fantastic, and good luck finding a copy of it, like I did. It's just like really, I mean, the album cover should be telling you all you're going to need to know about that. It's mystical, sort of keyboard-ish black metal, but it's really speedy. Great riffs. The production on it is just really flawless. It's one of those things that if it had come out on like Acropolis Records in 98 or 97 or somewhere around there, this thing would have been like way more well appreciated. And I believe it's been out of print ever since this came out originally, so check that out. Check out Avatar. Also, it's got Chris Verwimp cover art, logo by Christoph Spiadl, great band photos. Also out of print, hasn't been reissued since then. yeah, so thanks for checking in and hanging out. Hopefully this Tenebrae Perpetuum is fairly good. If you've heard this and you haven't heard their earlier stuff, definitely go look into it. I believe they were kind of inactive for about 10 years there or so, so not a band I expected to come back and do anything. So we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Woohoo! That was a great video, and it was made possible mostly by me, but also thanks to the undying and kind support of my Patreon subscribers. Thank you all. I love you. If you are interested in being a part of my Patreon channel and supporting what I do, you are welcome to join at the URL below. It is only $6.66 per month, and you're going to love it. Thank you.